Hello viewers, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your cup of coffee. So we'll directly start with the principles of GMP. The sixth principle, train and develop staff. To meet GMP requirements, it is essential to have right people to do right job. FDA expect GMP personnel to be trained for their specific duties and tasks. So training includes basic training on theories and practice of GMP as well as specific training related to their job role. So when we speak job role, employees engaged in the manufacture, processing, packing, holding of drug product. They need the education, training and experience required to their specific assigned functions. So when you are conducting a training, the training includes general GMP requirement training, educational development, as I mentioned, job specific skill development, skill enhancement training is required, leadership development training is required, standard operating specific training is required. All the training, whatever training you are doing or you are conducting, it must be documented. And when we need to conduct the training, that will be another question. The training are of different types. For example, an employee is being recruited for the first time. So he need to be aware about the organization, the organizational structure, the implementation of GMP, the basics about GMP, and about the job specific training also. So during the recruitment, they need to undergo the training. And we know that rules and regulations are changing day by day due to the globalization and the fast growth of the industry. So a routine training is required to keep you updated with the changes that is happening in the industry. So what are the importance of training? When you conduct a training, what their importance? The formal training exposes new employees to the organization values and processes, increase the rate at which they become productive. Ongoing training enhances skill and increases productivity. So these are certain importance of training. One is the new employees, they will be getting an exposure to know about the organization values and processes, increase the rate at which they become productive. Then ongoing trainings, they enhances the skills and of course it will be increasing the productivity. So moving on to the next principle, practice good hygiene. In GMP, it is necessary to develop a program to meet the standards of cleanliness which is necessary for the product. That will be reducing the risk of product contamination by putting in place a sanitation program. Always we need to practice good personal hygiene. So during this COVID-19, all of you are well aware about how to maintain the personal hygiene and social distancing. You might have already practiced the 7-step procedure of washing your hands. So the personal hygiene, by washing the hands, by wearing the required personal protective equipment which is related to your job role, are necessary, are one of the prerequisites to maintain and practice the good hygiene. And you also need to inform your supervisor if you are ill. So when you are not allowed to enter the manufacturing facility until you are well again. And you are not supposed to smoke, never eat, never drink or chew in when you are inside your production facility. Always follow the cleaning and sanitization procedure. These practices are nothing more than common sense, that your best defense to reduce the risk of product contamination. And we also need to record the personal hygiene practices that we have followed in our production facility. So going to the next principle is maintain facilities and equipment. The preventive maintenance in pharmaceutical production is essential element of pharmaceutical quality system. Systems for calibration and handling of repairs are of equal importance for maintaining the qualified state. That's why maintenance and calibration are parts of an efficient quality system. The regular maintenance of equipment, facilities to minimize the safety issues of contamination and quality control are required. And we also need to maintain the written records of work performed related to the maintenance activities, calibration activities of facilities as well as equipments. So as stated in 21 CFR 211/67, equipments and utensils shall be cleaned, maintained and sanitized at appropriate intervals to prevent malfunctions or contamination that would alter safety, identity, strength, quality and purity of drug. So simply it is saying the need of having a maintenance practice, a cleaning practice, a sanitation practice to prevent the malfunction as well as contamination. So it is also stating the need to have the written procedures that we have to establish for maintaining our facilities, maintaining the premises, which include the utensils which are used for manufacturing, processing, packing and holding of the drug products. And these procedures shall include assignment of responsibilities of cleaning and maintaining the equipment, maintenance and cleaning schedules, including where appropriate sanitization schedules have been happening, a description of methods, equipments and materials used in the cleaning maintenance operations. And if we are using any kind of disassembling or assembling procedures which are necessary to assure the cleaning and maintenance, that also should be clearly stated. So the records required are not limited by these three. There are many other records that you need to maintain. So the GMP requirement is that to have a maintenance schedule in place with the frequency determined by the criticality of a particular instrument what you are going to use. And during the maintenance, we shall keep the related activities that we have performed during the maintenance schedule. When the equipment was last used, what was used for, what it was used for, when it was cleaned, when it was last inspected or repaired, when it was last cleared. So all this information we need to keep in the form of a record. So the need of good documentation again comes. You will be able to see one examples of a calibration certificate, how neatly we need to maintain with the signature of the concerned person, date and signature of the concerned person. So in maintenance, the calibration and maintenance is an important aspect to assure the quality of the product during the process, during the quality analysis, etc. So under the maintenance of equipment and facilities, the thumb rule that we have to remember is over maintaining a facility offers maximum reliability. Under maintenance, it yields long-term reliability issues. So what is the thumb rule that we have to remember? Over maintaining the facility offers maximum reliability. Under maintaining, it yields long-term reliability issues. So with this, we will move on to the next principle, that is the need of implementing quality systems. So one of the guiding principle of GMP we already discussed. The GMP never insists or it never rely on end product quality testing. The quality should be designed into the whole product life cycle. So pharma companies, they are striving to produce high quality product to enable them to enhance their reputation, maximize profit, and to produce high quality drugs to humans and animals. So to meet these targets, they rely on well designed pharmaceutical quality system. So a pharmaceutical quality system need to be implemented, which involves the coordination of quality through process with the aim of producing finished product of highest quality. How it is possible? What they have to implement? In your mind you can say now, what they have to implement? They have to implement GMP. So GMP is the part of quality assurance program which assures the quality of the product, the safety of the product. So GMP is a part of quality management that assures the products are consistently produced and controlled to quality standard appropriate to their intended use and as required by the marketing authorization or the product specification. So in the GMP, the controlling components are, when we say we need to have a quality system, what are the controlling components which will be determining the quality? One is controlling the manufacturing process, packing and labeling controls, holding and distribution controls. So these many controls are required. Or in a simple manner you can say that every step in the product life cycle requires the implementation of good manufacturing practices. Okay, so that is about the need of quality system, the pharmaceutical quality system in GMP. So that is the main guiding principle of GMP. So moving on to the last principle, it is about audit. So as per the GMP, GMP audits are mandated. And normally there are two types of audit. One is an external auditing and the other one is the self-inspection we call, or in-house auditing we call. Self-inspection and external auditing. These are the two types of auditing that we normally do. A GMP audit is conducted to check whether your company complies with the federal regulations, the regulation that you need to follow depending upon which part of the globe you are working and you are following which regulation. So based upon that, you need to follow the regulations. The regulatory authorities, for example, if you speak about US FDA, US FDA will notify you through a form. A form is there which is called as form number 482. It is a notice of inspection. So I'm talking about the external auditing, okay? I'm talking about the external auditing. So initially when you have designed your facilities and you want to implement your GMP, that time the external auditing will take place. And there will be routinely also the external auditing will be taking place. So where the GMP inspectors from the FDA, for example, if it is US, if it is based upon the US federal regulations, the US FDA inspectors will be coming and performing this. So you will be getting a notice, and that notice form number is 482. And during this external audit, you need not be panic. What you need to do is you need to assure that the following 6 things are completely controlled. Which are those 6 major elements? One is facility, equipments, raw material, operating procedures, trained staff, that means the trained personnel, finished product, along with a separate quality control department. So if these 6 things are completely controlled, you need not be panic during this audit. And after the FDA auditing, they will be auditing the entire process of production, and they will be submitting you a form that is called 483. In case of the investigators found the GMP violations or any kind of deficiencies, what you need to do is you need to respond to the letter, the notice in a given time, and demonstrate with your answer on how you will be effectively eliminate the deficiencies and assure the reoccurrence or the reinstallation of your GMP into the system. And the second kind of auditing is the internal auditing. We call it as internal auditing or in-house auditing or the self-inspection. Why the self-inspection is done? It is always beneficial to conduct self-inspections at a regular interval to ensure that the company adheres to the codes of GMP. So if you are doing a regular internal auditing, you will be able to identify the loopholes in the current process and equipment that you can correct in time to stay a step ahead and to maintain the quality standards. So here you will be able to see some of the checklist when you are doing the self-inspection. One is the written procedures, job competence, documentation and validation, sanitation and cleanliness, maintenance of workplace quality control. And when you are doing a self-inspection, you will need a corrective action and a preventive action. We call it as CAPA, corrective action and a preventive action. That is a system which will be helping you to manage and fix any loopholes that you are finding during your auditing process. So that is about the 10 principles of GMP. Hope you are clear with all the 10 principles. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the window where Q&A facility is available. You can ask your question when you go through this video. So moving on. So these are the 10 golden principles of GMP. Now we will move on to another concept that is about the essential of GMP. You can see that there are 6 pillars of GMP. Normally we say that good things start with good people. To have a quality system, to have a GMP, you need to have good people. The management should be committed to continuous improvement with the workplace, management team and staff. So that is the first essentiality, that is a committed management. The second is risk management. So the vendors should have a system and process in place to evaluate and diminish the potential risk associated with various tasks and jobs. And the third one is the quality management system. So we already discussed about the quality management system, the need of quality management system. When we are discussing one of the principles of GMP, we discussed about this concept, and you will be hearing more videos about the quality management in the first module. When you are going to listen the first module lectures, which is concentrating more about the quality assurance and quality control in pharma industry, you are going to discuss more about the pharmaceutical quality management system, where we will be discussing about quality by design and the total quality management concept, etc. And the fourth one, the fourth requirement is site and facility management, which we already discussed. The need to have a proper facilities and equipment, which need to be properly maintained, properly managed, in such a manner that it will be assuring the safety of the workers, which will be assuring the quality of the product. The next one is the product control. So we need to have a control over the product. The vendor should treat raw materials and the finished product to the same standards that you do. Raw materials and finished goods inventory location should be well documented and it should be easily found. Raw materials and finished product should be properly handled in a clean environment to avoid unnecessary contact, unnecessary stains or dirts which will be leading into the contamination. And the last essentiality is the personal training and competency. So we already discussed it when we are discussing about the principle, that is the personal training and the competency. The person should be properly trained in their required job areas. The specific job oriented training is required to make them more competent for their job. So we can see that in GMP, in a company, when GMP is being implemented, there will be multiple departments which are working hand by hand to ensure high quality production. So in all these departments, you need to have skilled personnel, well maintained equipment, processes, you need to have a good process control, you need to have a system of good risk management. All these are very critical for the GMP to implement. So these are some of the essentials of GMP. Now we will see the worldwide enforcement of GMP in the coming slides. So there are different official regulatory statement and guidelines, both national and international, for GMP of pharmaceutical products, cosmetics, food industry, and medicinal devices. And when you are reading, you can see that some of them may be in the form of a regulation. For example, in US and Japan and Korea, it is in the form of regulation. And in certain nations, it is in the form of a directive. As in the case of European Union, they call it as a directive. And in UK, United Kingdom, they call it as guides. And in Australia, they call it as codes. Similarly, the WHO codes, WHO also call it as code. The World Health Organization, it also called it as code. Like Southeast and Southeast Asian countries, they also follow the WHO codes. So some of the guidelines we can see here. In the case of US, they have the FDA guidelines. In the case of United Kingdom, they have the Medicines and Healthcare Product Regulatory Agency, MHRA. And in the case of European Union, you have the EMEA, nothing but European Agency for Evaluation of Medical Product. Australia, there is Therapeutically Goods Administration. And in India, we have the Drug Control Administration of each state and the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, that is the CIDSCO. So the various guidelines you will be able to see here. One is CGMP in the case of FDA, then WHO GMP guidelines, then the MHRA GMP guidelines, then the TGA GMP guidelines. Similarly, you have the ICH Q7 GMP guidelines for active pharmaceutical ingredients. So these are some of the overview about the various GMP guidelines available nationally and internationally. And we have seen that the first WHO, the first FDA guideline, it was enforced in exactly to say 1968 to 1969. So during 1970s, more nations adopted this system, and now worldwide you will be able to see that the GMP systems are being implemented in various industries like the pharma industries, the cosmetic industries, the food industries. They implement the GMP into their system to assure the quality of the product. So the other guidelines and regulations, you can see that the Pharmaceutical Inspection Committee scheme to guide the good manufacturing practice of medical products. And in India, we have the Schedule M, that is the good manufacturing practice and requirements of premises, plant and equipment for pharmaceutical products. It is by the Drugs and Cosmetic Act and Rules, India. And mostly when we are discussing, we will be discussing about all this regulation based upon the FDA, US FDA, So in US, whatever amendments based upon whatever amendments they make, it will be coming in their Federal Register, the Code of Federal Register. The FDA portion CFR Title 21, which interpret the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act and related statutes, including the Public Health Service Act. Then the Pharmaceutical and Drug Quality Relation Regulations appears in several parts of Title 21, include the sections like 1 to 99, 200 to 299, 300 to 499, 600 to 799, and 800 to 1299. And you will be able to see in the coming slides more about the Code of Federal Regulations. So where you can see that the initial part, like part 1 to 99 and up to 200 to 299, it contains the bulk of CGMPs. When you are doing the bulk manufacturing, what are the basics that is required for the bulk manufacturing? And the CFR part 314 and part 600, it is the guidelines regarding application and license submission requirements for new and generic drug applications. Similarly, the 21 CFR part 210, it is for CGMP in manufacturing, processing, packing or holding of drugs. The 21 CFR part 211, it is for CGMP for finished pharmaceuticals. So these are the different part that you will be able to see in the case of federal regulations. Yes. So in the federal regulations, the part this is like a summary about the Code of Federal Regulation, where you can see that the part 210 and 211, it is for the drug industry. The part 820, it is for the medical industry. If you are working with the food industry, you have to follow 21 CFR part 110. And if it is for blood industries, they have to follow the part 606. And for biological product genera, that they have to follow part 600. And 610 is for general biological product standards. Okay viewers, this is just an overview about the FDA Code of Federal Regulations and also about the worldwide enforcement of GMP. Now I'll give you a few suggestions. So these are few references for the further reading. To get more details about the GMP and its implementation and the worldwide enforcement of GMP, please go through these textbooks. Hope you are enjoying the video. In the next class, we will be coming with another topic. Till then, bye bye, stay tuned.